Hello, TVR Universe. I am Dave, and today I'm going to bring you absolute value. Do not go anywhere, because today we're going to be looking at some awesome microphones for under £100 or dollars, giving you some great tips on what microphones to use depending on your situations, and looking at the types of microphones that you may want to look at, being clip-on mics, microphones for streaming, and so much more. So do not go anywhere. I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube tips to help you build your brand, your channel, and improve your video skills. If that sounds interesting to you, smash that like button, hit the like button, and let's bring on the value. So we're going straight to Cam 2, where we're going to look at some absolute value now, where we're going to be looking at Hello Perry, welcome to this week's stream. So the first thing I'll be looking at, I'm just going to get my value round. As I forgot to do that, I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything for you guys. So first we're going to look at clip-on mics. Now you're probably thinking, why do I need these as a content creator or YouTuber? And the brutal answer to this is, I found a really good one actually, which is in my description, so go and check it out after this live stream. And that hasn't came on, so let's just put clip on mic. It came on quite happily a minute ago. It's now getting all scared. This is a really good, actually. If you just get something like this, this is a great bit of value. Literally costs £10, which will be $11, $12, depending on what part of the world you're in. And basically, these are really good microphones. You can clip them onto you, which is really cool. So if you imagine, it's just sort of clipped on your shirt. And a little power tip, actually, I would share with you guys. Something I've still not seen anyone on YouTube talk about is, actually, you could actually clip one of these onto a second tripod. For you core fans, you'll probably know I talk about this occasionally. And you can actually have this about a foot away. I would say about a foot is a good measurement for any microphone that you're using for really good audio. You can tell right away, the closer the microphone, the better the sound. If the if the mic is further away like it is now, you could probably tell you can't hear me as well. So bear that in mind. Just thought I'd throw that in there. So if you can imagine that's clipped onto you then. And what's really good about this type of microphone is it really does give value. It gives a really good bit of video. And if you watch any of my Tuesday videos, you will see that the audio just sounds really crisp. And that clip-on microphone only cost me £10. That is how much it costs. And that's all it costs to improve your audio. Because you may not have the best camera in the world. You may be using your phone, and you can use this with your phone. Just bear in mind, if you're using a Google or iPhone, you may have to get a small adapter just to adapt the jack to the right connection that an iPhone or Apple phone wants, or a Google phone, sorry. And just bear that in mind. But as you can see, they just have multiple jacks, and also it has two little sponges. So if you want a black just to be sort of default neutral, or you got a little red one just to be different. And I'm sure if you wanted something a bit more fancy, you could do that as well. So let's just have a look to see what's going on this week. As I'm sure those you familiar with Amazon will know that it changes all the time. Every day you get more and more value. This is interesting. This is a bit more expensive. Why is it more expensive then? So you have a cool little camera to phone. That's interesting. So it changes the signal from a phone to a camera depending on what you're using. That'd be interesting. And it has a different type of jack as well. That's cool. I would like to think the sound quality sounds a bit better. You've got one here for £12, which comes with a little windbreak, which is really cool. Now, obviously, you get a mini one with that anyway, but just bear in mind, if you're outside, especially, the bigger windbreak or foam head, mic foam, what you want to call it. I've even seen people use socks, even pro creators use socks. Why not? I wish I thought of that when I was doing my filming back in the day. But that's just a really cool little power tip there. Use a sock if if you don't have a mic sponge. Use a sock, hashtag. I can see that going worldwide now. But just bear this in mind, you can use that to clip on, and this has lots of different jacks. It has the jack we were just talking about to connect it to I believe that's to, you'd have to look at I'd have to look at this in more detail afterwards, but I would imagine that one there is for a Google. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's just go to main camera to see. Hello, Brad. Welcome to the value. Welcome, Perry, again. And welcome, Brad, to the live stream. Shall we bear that in mind? Absolute value. Welcome to the stream, and feel free, if you only just joined us or you watch this on the replay, feel free to ask your questions if you watch this live in the live feed, and I will do my best to answer those questions as we go on. I also have some questions that have been sent to me over the week. I'll get to them later on where I'll be talking about value, and if you watch this on the replay, just note your questions in the comments and I will get back to you as soon as possible. So that's something to bear in mind. See what I did there? Wow. But as you can see, there's absolutely loads of different clip-on mics here, and you can really spend as much as you want. I personally feel that you don't have to spend any more than £10-20 or dollars, if I'm brutally honest, but you can spend as much as you want. Now, if you want one that's a bit more, you don't have all the wires, because they do come with a lot of wires, you can get wireless ones. They cost about £100. Let's just see if we can find one just to sort of you watch this now. I've been completely let's see if we just put wireless. There we go. These are usually much more expensive. Something like this, let's see, £100-200. I'm trying to find the one that I found a while ago. Boom, 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 boom. You get the idea anyway. But this is a really cool one, actually. This is much more expensive, but you don't have the cable. So for some of you that don't want that, if you're filming outdoors especially, you don't want to mess around with cables, this might be something, if money isn't an issue, might be something you want to check out. But look, if it has really good reviews, 5 stars, and not a single person has anything bad to say about it yet. So just read through, see if it's for you. I imagine it probably has batteries, and it has lots of different jacks, so that would be a cool bit of kit. That might be something I might consider myself in the future. That's something really cool. Let's have a look then at shotgun mics. Now, as a creator, shotgun microphone, we just put that in. As a creator, you're probably thinking, when's the best time to use these? Now, again, as I said earlier, you might want to use these on top of your camera or phone when you're doing your head videos, your weekly content. Have it clipped to your phone or your camera. Again, like I said earlier, with a clip-on mic, you could quite easily attach your microphone to a second tripod, where you could quite easily have it at sort of a foot distance, and you could produce some really good audio. Bear in mind, all cameras and phones have fairly good internal microphones nowadays, especially if you've bought your camera in the last couple of years, or phone for that matter. But if you just want a higher quality, because the better the audio, the more professional it makes your content. No matter what lighting you've got, even if you're not great at video, if you've got good sound, this can massively improve your content. So really, really take that on board, because it really is so true. Let's just see what it's about. So that looks all right. That's quite a big one for £25 there. I've found one that I thought you guys might like. The link to that is in the description. I believe it's only like £15-20. This is a basic one. And again, being brutally honest, you can spend as much or as little as you want. But I would say if you spend no more than £20-30, that should give you a fairly good, decent quality. And if you make that microphone within about a foot away when you're doing your professional, your weekly content, your weekly videos, then that should give you some really good audio. Let's just see what the ones are about then. Just to sort of give you a bit of, if you want to spend £200, obviously the sound would be much better, but just, take on board that. Again, do you have to spend that much? I personally don't think you do, but lots of people out there may disagree. And obviously it's going to be much better, probably. But also bear in mind that lots of people will watch your content on their phone, and they probably won't think too much. As long as it sounds pretty good, you could probably get away with a, you know, 30 to 60 pound or dollar microphone and it will sound perfectly fine. I use a 20 pound or even a 10 pound microphone every week and they sound great. So, you know, there you go. And let's just see what's about. There's one for £50. This is a cool little accessory. Just to give you an idea then what it looks like. You know, you can connect it to your tripod that has like a phone mount. Have your phone on it there because, you know, more and more you creators are using your phone, and that's thumbs up to you guys. And just see there, you can have a little adapter and have your microphone on top. That type of microphone there is very similar to the ones that I use on a lot of my videos, and as you can see, you can take that foam off, but it's great if you're filming outdoors because you don't get that wind noise, which is really irritating. And yeah, for $36, you know, that's not breaking the bank, you know, and that's a one-off payment. And a little power tip actually I would share with you guys is I would highly recommend try to get one with batteries, whatever type of batteries you prefer to buy. I personally prefer either AAA or AA, just because I just find that easier to load, and when you're not using it, take the batteries out so they last longer. Just little things like that you won't even think of, but you know, it saves you money when you think, especially if you're doing this every week. And I just find if something like that, then if it breaks or whatever, it's just easier to replace than if it's a, you know, a specific type of battery, or if you get some sort of microphone that needs charging or something like that. You know, I'm all about trying to make things as professional but productive and as easy for you as possible, because most of us, you know, we're single directors, we're single content creators, we're everything. We're the cameramen, we're the editors, we're all of it. So we want this journey to be as enjoyable as possible. So you don't want things that are overly complex, and just little thing like an easy battery swap just makes life just that little bit easier. Okay, so what do I use? I use this, as you can see here. I use, and I believe there is a link to this in the description. Yes, there is. Thank you, director. There is a link to this in the description. It is the Zoom H1N. It costs about £100. I believe now it's about 80. It's actually a recorder dictaphone, and it's great for recording sound effects. If you want to record nature, if you want to do voiceovers, which I've done in my film Reel, go and check it out at some point. Really good film that I made a couple of years ago. I used it a lot for that, and I use it every week on my live streams. It's now got this awesome arm that my mate Brad bought me a while ago, and it's just a brilliant dictaphone that's just became a really good weekly microphone. I absolutely love it, and it went through a phase, if I'm honest, where, you know, apart from when I was using it for films, it was just sitting in the box getting dusty. But now I'm doing weekly live streams. It became pretty much my best friend as a filmmaker, minus the tripod, which will always be my favourite. All right, let's just have a brief look then to see who is in the green room. I just want to do a shout out again to Perry. Good man from college. What an absolute legend. Go and check out his music, by the way. He absolutely rocks. And Brad, that's always helping in the background, ensuring that I continue to bring you the best value that I can bring on a weekly basis. So if you've only just joined us, I'm Dave from TVR Creators, and I make weekly YouTube and video tips help you grow your channel. If that sounds interesting to you and you haven't done so already, smash the subscribe button and like if you're getting value. And if you are getting value, I'm glad you are. If you watch this on the replay later through the weekend, etc., you guys rock. And if you want to support the brand, the best way you can do that is by watching any of my videos from start to end, or any creator that you value. And if you also want to support the brand, feel free to check out our merch, which is everywhere. There's a link to that in the description. TVR, just type in TVR Creators into Google, or click on the link in the description, or TVR Creators Teespring, and you can check out. We've got t-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got phone covers. We've got some really cool stuff to check out, and I'm always changing it from time to time and making new designs, so go and check it out. Right, we're going to get to the questions. If you've got any questions, feel free to put them in the live chat. I'm just going to make sure I'm on live one, yep. Because we're going to give you absolute value. And anyway, I've got some questions that will be sent to me throughout the week over on Twitter and Instagram. other places you can find us. I've got some updates about that later, but I'll get to that later. So the first question, I believe, was on Instagram for some random awesome person. And they said, what is the best mic for making YouTube videos? That's a very good point. And I'm going to say, from what we probably learned tonight, it really depends on the situation. So if you're live streaming, as I know many of you are, especially you gamers out there, I would highly recommend getting yourself a nice sort of one of these awesome arms with a really cool microphone. You can spend anywhere between £30 up to hundreds. Spend as much as you want, or if you don't want to spend the earth, you want something a bit simpler, you can get a really cool just stand with a microphone on, or if you want to spend a bit more, you get something like the Blue Yeti. I don't know why I got scared over that. And there's lots of other great little microphones. There's USB mics, you can plug them in and go with it. Now obviously if you're doing weekly videos, I recommend something like a clip-on or a shotgun mic that you can attach to your camera or phone. And, you know, just remember to make them no more than a foot away from you. Otherwise, the sound will get really quiet and you won't be able to hear what they're saying. And, you know, that's just really annoying. So I'd basically say it depends on the situation. But if you want a sort of a default, a USB microphone, if you're doing streaming or voiceovers, or a shotgun or clip-on mic if you're doing videos. Hope that answered your question. The next question is, best camera for YouTube? Well, I'm going to say, actually, it's the phone you have is probably the best. Sorry, the camera you have is probably the best camera for YouTube. If it's your phone, because to be fair, for most of you, your best camera probably is your phone, unless you have, you know, something like the M50. For me personally, if you're asking me directly, I'm going to say the Canon M50 because it still costs way under £1,000, and it is still the best camera now the Mark IIs came out. Without spending, you know, thousands of pounds on, like, you know, the most professional camera. So for me, I would say either your phone or the Canon M50. Hope that answers that question. Right, the next question is, how far... I think I've pretty much answered this multiple times, but we'll read it out anyway. I believe this was on Twitter. How far should a mic be for recording audio for your videos? Well, that is a good question, to be fair. And I'm going to say what I've already said. A good foot or so away from the camera where the microphone is based. If you want to make it look professional, have it out of shot, and it will give you really good audio. And if you're doing live streams, I've found recently having the microphone a bit closer just makes you sound like you're in the studio, makes it feel more professional, or you're listening to like a radio presenter. Just the feel that a lot of content creators sort of like and what people like to listen to. So I hope that answers that question. And the final question before we get to the next part of the value is, what good editing software would you recommend for video editing? Now, I could talk about this forever. I've got multiple videos on video editing, so check out our playlist after this video. But I would say Magic Edit Pro. And the reason I say that, I'll be brutally honest, it's probably not, you know, the most fancy editing software. It's probably not as good as Adobe Pro or Apple, whatever Apple's on. I've been Dumbledore the words. And DaVinci Resolve, which I know a lot of filmmakers and creators use as well. Final Cut, stuff like that. But for me personally, I love Magic, and I'm going to be brutally honest why. Specifically for YouTube. I haven't really used it for filmmaking yet, but what I love about it is it's simple, effective, it doesn't crash. Well, I say that. It very rarely crashes, unlike a lot of editing. And I've used quite a few editing programs over the years, and they tend to crash quite a lot. And I'm sure you editors out there would relate. But I just like it because it has the simple transitions that you need on most YouTube videos. It's very easy to use. It's efficient. It renders videos very quickly. What more is there to want than a program that's simple and efficient? So I'm going to go with Magic. And if you haven't bought it already, go and buy it. Because I know a couple of you have. So I hope that answered your questions. Honestly, if you've got any more questions, put them in the live chat throughout this live stream about YouTube or video, or if you watch it on the replay, put them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them whenever I see them. If I take a little while too, it's obviously, you know, I'm human at the end of the day, and also bear in mind that sometimes YouTube flags up comments for literally no reason, and then about a week later I'm like, oh damn, sorry, I missed your comment. So I will get to you as soon as possible. Now, Tips for audio, how to... Okay, so I just had some tips I wanted to mention, but I think I've gone over them a lot already. So the tips I wanted to mention were things like how close, obviously no more than a foot away, best microphone down to the situation, which we've talked about before, so I won't go into more detail now because I think we sort of covered that. And sort of outside, I would definitely recommend as a power tip to make sure you use a sock. You can do, but I would definitely recommend having a, you know, an audio foam like I got here at the moment, even though I'm indoors here in the studio. But especially if you're recording outside, make sure you've got some sort of windbreak foam, whatever you want to call it, just because, you know, you don't want that annoying wind. And even if you think it's on a day when, you know, you're getting value, go and buy one of our mugs. Even if you think you know it's a quiet day and there's no wind, you'll be surprised how sensitive, especially if you've got a more professional microphone like this. Zoom picks up everything, and I mean everything, so just bear that in mind when you're filming outside. Okay, so we're getting absolute value. I'm going to type to you guys rock. Because, you know, that's just how I roll. Yeah, you guys absolutely rock. I think you guys are awesome. I really do. Okay, so I think I've gotten over everything I wanted. I just wanted to give you a bit of a rundown of some of the microphones I recommend. Again, there's links to them in the description. And I'm just going to say thank you so much for watching. Hope you got value from today's video. If you're watching on replay, feel free to ask any questions, not just about microphones, but YouTube or video. And if I know the answer, I will do my best to help. And if you've watched live tonight, thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the TVR creator, supporting me to give you the best value than that I can give. So have a great weekend, and more importantly, we're gonna win the World Cup because it's coming home, and you guys rock. You guys rock. Yes, yes, yes. Let's bring back the yes chant. Yes, yes, yes.